I'm going to talk about the future of learning with AI, artificial intelligence, especially in the context of organization talent development. Let's start with a thought experiment. There was a boy called Aladdin. He had a lamp that he was tinkering with, and suddenly there was a blast of magic dust. And along came a genie that was all powerful with immense capabilities. Now we all know how that story goes. The genie says, hey, I am at your command and I'm going to do everything that you tell me to do. Now let's imagine for a second that the genie forgets this etiquette and he does not verbalize these first few statements and is now looking piercingly straight into the eyes of our Aladdin and expecting him to make the first move. What do you think will go through Aladdin's mind at this point? Chances are that he would be intimidated with this immense capability and power that the genie brings with it, and may even stoop to the point where he asks the genie to leave him alone and take what he wants from him. So the point being that how the story develops depends a lot on our initial reaction to new things. This is a dilemma that I find most of us have gotten into. We have in front of us access to a power that we did not have before, and we have to now figure out what is our point of approach. Is it going to be a point of leverage from which we approach any new power, or is it going to be a point of defense, a point of trust from where we are going to view this, or a point of doubt? Now, I don't know how our story will unfold. But to my mind, if we have access to any great power, we must summon it to give us the magic carpet that we need and get us the big leaps that we want in our business and our organizations. My name is Aman Dubey, and I am a learning futurist. And what I do is I help organizations achieve breakthrough with the help of learning design systems and talent development systems. How did I get here? Well, for the last 20 years, I have been designing talent development tools, and I started off with the technology of paper-based formats, moved into Excel-based templates, then moved into web-based applications, then moved into automation of workflows, and now I am working with AI to create my talent tools. And I want to share a very interesting insight with you. As I adopted new technologies, every new technology unlocked new degrees of freedom. And this allowed for me to create multiple levels of complexity in my tools. Fascinatingly for me, the new technology, which is AI, it has immense amount of capability and there are infinite degrees of freedom to be unlocked. But I did not take that lure. And I kind of felt challenged to look at more simplified solutions which require tiny efforts. So if we were to, with the help of this technology, are able to simplify everything to its bare bones, we are able to think of or toy with the idea that not all big results can come from big efforts. It can also come from tiny efforts but placed at a different position. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you or imagine a future with AI for talent development in organizations with the hope that our HR, human resources, and learning and development and training teams and talent teams get to a position of unprecedented leverage from where they can shape the future of talent evolution in their organizations. So I will basically focus my talk on 4 areas where AI will deliver breakthrough in talent development. These are, first, organization diagnostics, learning design, assessments, and employee development. So let's take organization diagnostics and begin with that. Organization diagnostics is the ability of the organization to clearly assess its talent position, being able to conduct in a regular manner and in a scientific way assessment of our skill, assessment of our leadership competence in the organization, as well as our cultural parameters. So let me just pick skill for a moment and see how that is going to change our lives. Now, Imagine what is it that AI will do for us in the space of skill ecosystems. Today, we can create entire competency frameworks of large organizations with the help of AI. It does not now need weeks and months to put this together. An SME can work with the tool and put this all together in just a matter of hours. Now, this approach also renders our skill inventory and our role definitions as dynamic documents, so that we are not frozen in time to when they were defined, but we are now in an always refining phase of our organization. Once we create these role benchmarks for every role in the organization, we can now assess people, invite all the stakeholders, and assess people regularly, at least 4 times a year, on what is the skill score that each individual has. By the way, I just want to point out that we are talking about an automated AI-driven system, not a manual effort. So doing something like this, which otherwise takes immense amount of resources and time, can now be done in an automated way. Once we have our skill assessments completed, we get to what we call the skill gap analysis. This is the biblical document in talent development. Without this document, organizations can go and run around amok like a headless chicken, not knowing what they are trying to develop and where is it, how will they be able to map it later. Skill gap analysis document also gives us a new leap. It solves for us the biggest problem that has haunted our industry for the longest time, which is how do we calculate effectiveness of a training program. Now, because we are doing this skill analysis 4 times a year, so we now have data of skill trends, how skills are moving in the organization. And that becomes for us a yardstick to measure effectiveness of any training intervention that we have conducted in the organization. Based on these skill gap analysis, we traditionally create the IDPs or the learning journeys. This is again completely automated with the help of AI. So these learning journeys get self-optimized every time there is a change in any skill score of any individual. So what we are talking about is a completely AI-powered automated system to help us put together this entire workflow. Now this also, let me take a step back and also mention that just having the skill gap analysis in place as a system in our organization, we can attempt some bigger things like career pathing, high potential identification, succession planning, and things like that. The point that I'm trying to make is that we can now break away from the mindset that talent development is like a puzzle with individual pieces, and each piece has to be handled independently for all to come together. And we can now move to an understanding and to a mindset where we see all these pieces connected together like a system. We can now clearly see that not each of these important L&D matrix in organizations have to be handled independently. They are all connected. All I need to do is put a processor in place, and rest everything now becomes a downstream of that data. And this processor could very well be the skill audit system, which creates, so to say, a stream of single source of truth across the organization. And if I want to gather any intelligence around any talent development matrix, I can just generate that from the downstream of that data as it flows through the organization. So let's take a mental screenshot of this image. We've reached a point where we clearly understand that talent development in organizations is not a puzzle, but it is a system that has all its parts connected together. Second area where AI will deliver immense leverage to HR and L&D professionals is in the area of learning design, which is basically from organization context. It's the ability of an organization to create need-based content very, very quickly at the speed of thought. Now, gone are the days when we would sit down and structure and research content that we could deliver in the classroom or in e-learning format or any other place. Introducing now AI-powered curriculum designer. It is a one-stop shop for creating your entire training curriculums starting from one single prompt. I can now very quickly create my lessons, quizzes, assessments, surveys, and even repurpose my existing content for different modalities like creating PowerPoints, infographics, on-the-job training assignments, podcast, a job aid, or a flashcard. So a one-stop shop is what we are suggesting AI can help us with generative AI inbuilt into it to create content at scale at the speed of thought. This will give organizations a very good leverage to be able to understand the needs of their employees and be able to create content very quickly. The third area where AI will deliver unprecedented value is in the area of employee engagement. Employee engagement is the ability of an organization to nurture and engage its employees meaningfully. Let me now share with you certain AI-powered talent tools that are going to lead this employee engagement piece into the future. The first of which is called AI Buddy. Now, imagine if you had a friend or a coach who's by your side 24/7, ready to have a conversation with you. Now, this particular AI coach knows you from your data. It knows your skill gaps. It knows what people are giving you feedback on, and it is ready to help you in any way it can. And in the end, we are now kind of entering an era where humans and AI will interact together, and I see this as a necessary part of our evolutionary process. The second tool that I want to talk about is AI Mood Monitor. Now, we all have heard that adage that employees don't leave their companies, they leave their immediate managers. And why does that happen? That happens because organizations typically have no clue of how employees are feeling or made to feel in their organization. This particular tool will go and check the mental health parameters of all the employees across the organization and in different silos, and will also measure the morale of the organization, giving you the very important data to spot any dangerous trends that are developing so that you can act in time. And AI, in a way, will also brief you on how things are going in the organization and where is it that it needs your attention. Now, this is fun. We all know happiness is not an achievement, it is a practice. Now we can gamify happiness via an AI-powered tool. So imagine this, a pop-up opens up on the app of our employees with their video feed on, and behind this is an AI engine that is reading your facial parameters in about 120 different dimensions. And it is kind of quantifying the expression of a particular emotion, for example, happiness, and giving you that result back, which you can now improve by smiling some more. So now what we can do is we can make happiness a practice in our teams and in our organization and become a happy workplace just by creating this very tiny tool in place, which is our AI Happiness Coach. Another tool that I want to talk about is AI Habit Builder. Now, with the advent of AI, all these experiments are now possible. Now, imagine that if we could, as an organization, build an inventory of tiny habits that in turn will deliver very big benefits to the entire organization. This is a way in which I can scale habits across a particular department, a silo, a profile, or across the organizations, and ensure that we create or we look at habit development as a trackable activity, and then, like I was saying, be able to create a tiny input at the right place to derive big benefits for the organization. Assessment and evaluation. This is the next area where AI will deliver unprecedented value. AI evaluators is on the scene. Wherever a human is assessing another human being, that human being will get replaced with AI very soon. Why? Because AI will do a more predictable job of it, a better job of it, and you will be able to scale that process. Now imagine for a second, one of the biggest drivers we have available as talent leaders for any organization to help improve performances of our people is to do more performance reviews. Using a tool like this allows for us to really can these performance reviews and really scale them and be able to give personalized recommendations on what it is people can do better on their jobs and really make this a part of their system. One other area that AI will deliver a lot of value in is in AI conversations. It is going to completely overhaul and reimagine the way we do role plays, the way we do interviews, the way we do assessments, and the way we do coaching. Imagine this for a second. We can now create an AI persona. That AI persona will have a real life conversation with your learner, and while doing that, it can assess that particular individual coach, or as per the instructions, do all the activities. And I would now be able to scale this entire role play, interview, assessment, and coaching processes at scale across the organization, giving every individual multiple experiences throughout the year to help him improve his performance. This is how AI conversations is going to pan out in the world that we are living in. Now, all these tools and systems that I showed you, they are part of a platform called Talent Evolution Platform by the name of ezae.in. In the end, I would like to encourage my fraternity of human resources, learning and development, capability building, organization development, talent development professionals to build systems in their organizations, not events. Adopt AI-powered automation and then start with AI to solve every use case. Thank you.